What if the world is closer to World War III than we think? What if a single conflict in the Middle East could suddenly change the price of oil, the global economy, and even the future of international politics? And the biggest question everyone is asking right now, is the war between the United States and Iran the beginning of a much bigger global war? Who started this conflict? Why did the United States launch attacks on Iran? What really happened to innocent civilians caught in the middle? And what is Donald Trump planning next? Today, we are going to break down the real story behind the US versus Iran war. The conflict did not start overnight. In fact, the roots of this tension go back more than 40 years. In 1979, Iran experienced a major revolution that completely changed its political system. The monarchy supported by the United States collapsed and a new Islamic government came to power. From that moment, the relationship between Iran and the United States turned from partnership into rivalry, and tensions continued to grow for decades. Over the years, the biggest dispute between the two countries has been Iran's nuclear program. The United States and its allies believe Iran could develop nuclear weapons, while Iran insists its nuclear program is only for peaceful energy and research. But everything changed in February 2026. On February 28th, the United States and Israel launched hundreds of airstrikes on Iranian military and strategic targets. These attacks targeted missile systems, air defenses, and key leadership positions inside Iran. The first wave of strikes was so intense that it killed Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei and several high-ranking officials. Iran responded quickly. Missiles and drones were launched toward Israel and several U.S. bases across the Middle East. The conflict spread across the region, with attacks reported in multiple countries and rising fears that the war could expand even further. But in every war, the most heartbreaking reality is the suffering of civilians. Reports say that more than 1,300 civilians have already been killed during the attacks and thousands of civilian sites have been damaged across Iran. One of the most shocking incidents happened when a missile strike hit a school in southern Iran. Investigations suggest that outdated intelligence may have caused the strike, and more than 160 people, many of them children, were killed in the explosion. Images of destroyed buildings and funerals quickly spread around the world, sparking outrage and raising serious questions about how modern wars are fought. Meanwhile, the United States says its goal is to destroy Iran's missile systems, weaken its military, and stop the country from ever developing nuclear weapons. Experts say Washington is also trying to reduce Iran's influence across the Middle East. But Iran has warned that if attacks continue, it could target shipping routes and energy infrastructure in the Persian Gulf. This includes the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important oil routes in the world. If that route is blocked, global oil prices could skyrocket and affect economies everywhere. This is why many analysts believe this conflict could shape the future of the entire world. So now the question remains, will this war stay limited to the Middle East, or could it trigger a much bigger global conflict? Because sometimes history shows us that small wars can grow into world wars. And right now, the entire world is watching what happens next.